Reform have lost the Gorton and Denton by-election, and they're handling it with all the grace and dignity of a toddler who's just been told they can't have ice cream for breakfast. The Greens won by over 4,000 votes, and it wasn't even close. And within minutes, Nigel Farage is on social media screaming about cheating, sectarianism, and the collapse of the Western civilization.
It's a victory for cheating.
Because apparently that's what happens when a plumber from Manchester beats your guy. So let's get into it. Okay, so the results came in around about 4:30 in the morning. Hannah Spencer, the Green candidate, who's a plumber and a trainee plasterer, which is already more useful than anything Farage has ever done in Parliament, takes the seat with nearly 15,000 votes. Reform's Matt Goodwin gets 10,500, Labour limp in third with 9,000, and the Conservatives, they got 700 votes, and that's just less than 2%, which is officially their worst by-election result in the entire history of the party. 700 votes. You could probably get more people to sign a petition to rename a local roundabout for that. So what does Nigel Farage do? Does he congratulate the winner? Does he acknowledge that his candidate got beaten by a comfortable margin in what was supposed to be a three-way knife-edge contest? No, of course not. He gets on social media and says this.
So the Gorton and Denton by-election is a victory. Yes, it's a victory for sectarian voting. It's a victory for cheating in elections.
Cheating. He said cheating. His candidate lost by 4,500 votes, and his instinct is to say that the other side cheated. Now, where have we heard that before? It feels like there's a very famous, very orange man who does exactly this thing every time he doesn't get what he wants. The Greens actually responded to this perfectly. They called it a straight out of the Trump playbook. And they're right, because that's exactly what it is.
Back in 2015, there was a by-election in Oldham. I called it bent and corrupt because of the way that postal votes were being corralled within the Muslim community. The same happened again in Peterborough in 2019. And, I even fought a court case against what I saw when someone turned up with a supermarket bag with 1,000 postal votes in. Well, in some ways, I've been on my own in trying to call out fraud in politics. But last night, at the close of play, a very reputable organisation called Democracy Volunteers said in 12% of voting cases they had witnessed family voting. That means a husband and wife or more going into the privacy of the polling station and effectively watching how the other member of the family votes. This is illegal under the law, and yet it appears that the council didn't do anything about it. So now there's a debate about fraud in voting. That's a very, very good thing.
Okay, right, so now you've gone from this is a victory, which you lost, to ranting about postal vote fraud going back to 2015, claiming that he's been fighting election fraud single-handedly for a decade. So here's where it gets really funny, and he says this.
But I return to the theme, it's postal voting that is being abused massively in this country. We need to get rid of the list. The only people that should ever vote by post are those who are elderly, infirm, or living or working abroad. That's got to be done. What conclusions do we draw? Well, our vote was good. I'm very, very pleased we doubled our vote. The implications of our vote are that right across the north of England, on the 7th of May and elsewhere, in those elections, we are going to do phenomenally well.
Okay, so how do we square this circle? When Reform's vote share goes up, that's a triumph, a mandator, proof the party is surging. But when the Greens' vote share goes up, even by more than them and they actually win, that's just cheating. Do you see the logic? Because I really don't. It's kind of like a heads I win, tails you cheated. Then he claims that the only people who should vote by post are the elderly, the infirm, and the people working abroad, which is interesting because I'm fairly sure a lot of Reform's voter base are elderly people who watch GB News in the living rooms. Be careful what you wish for, Nigel. Now, if you thought Farage was bad, wait till you hear from the man himself. Matt Goodwin, the candidate, the guy who was supposed to become Reform's 9th MP, the academic who reinvented himself as a populist firebrand. He lost, and his response was to post this on X. We are losing our dangerous country. Dangerous Muslim sectarianism has emerged. We only have a general election left to save Britain. Sounds like a tagline to a disaster movie. We only have one general election left to save Britain. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Okay, so listen to this interview. He's asked what went wrong, and he can't even bring himself to say that we lost. Instead, he's banging on about how they doubled their vote and they planted their flag in Northern England, and they've embarrassed Labour.
Matthew Goodwin, you hope to be Reform's 9th MP. What went wrong? Because it wasn't even close.
Sectarianism. That's what happened. We more than doubled our vote. We're in Labour's backyard. We're the second political force in this seat. We have planted a flag in Northern England. You'll have seen the reform boards up and down this constituency. More than 10,000 people voted for us. We can go on to Labour constituencies across Northern England, into the Red Wall, into Wales. We can win those seats. We will win those seats. Again, the Greens can only pull this kind of result off in a small number of seats.
You came second by a lot. That's not planting a flag, that's face planting into the dirt and pretending it was intentional. He then says, and honestly this is the bit that really got me, he says that the reason the Greens won was a coalition of Islamists and woke progressiveness that came together to dominate the constituency. That's his excuse. Not that the Green candidate ran a good campaign, not that the people actually liked her policies, not that she'd been out knocking on doors while he was dropping out of local hustings events, which he did, by the way, reportedly after requesting a private green room, and trying to pack the audience with supporters from outside of the constituency. No, it must be the Islamists, and the woke people all together forming an evil band against them. But maybe he's right in some respect. I mean, 5 pillars did really lay into him.
Mr Goodwin, a bit of an embarrassment, isn't it, to lose to the woke Greens, isn't it? Proud patriot, not able to win a British seat. Bit embarrassing, Mr Goodwin, wouldn't you say? Mr Goodwin's a loser. You're going to rally about it on your show, GB News, losing to the Greens.
And then we get to the absolute cherry on top of this entire mess. Reform's own chairman, Dr. David Bull, went on the BBC after the result, and when he was asked whether the reports of family voting actually affected the outcome, well, he said this.
We need to put your comments a moment ago in context because the local council has not backed up those claims about the family voting. So I appreciate you're making that point.
Yes.
But you're not suggesting, are you, that the reason Reform didn't win is because of those issues you raised a moment ago?
No,
is that what you're suggesting?
No. I think we have to...
So what did you get wrong in terms of what you were trying to sell to the people in that area who have rejected what you had to offer?
Well, I don't think we got anything wrong.
Probably not. Reform's own chairman on national television, so while Farage is screaming about cheating and Goodwin is warning that civilization is collapsing, their own party chairman is going, yeah, to be honest, it probably didn't make a difference. He was even asked if they'll challenge the result and he said no. They should all just calm down because it's been up all night and any rash decision would be a bad decision. So let's be clear, Farage says that the election was stolen through cheating. Goodwin says that dangerous Muslim sectarianism is destroying Britain, and their own chairman is probably it doesn't really matter and everyone should just get some sleep. 3 different stories from the same party on the same night about the same election. It's not a political movement, it's 3 blokes in a pub who can't agree on what happened in a football match they all watched together. Because that's the thing, isn't it? These are the people who wrap themselves in the flag, they tell you that they're fighting for Britain, who bang on about patriotism and sovereignty and the will of the people, and then, when the moment the people actually exercise their will and vote for someone else, suddenly it's fraud and cheating, sectarianism, and the country is falling apart. The will of the people is only the will of the people when Reform wins. When they lose, well, democracy is broken, isn't it?